Hey homies, what's up? Ryan Wynn here with another episode of Late Night Inks. And before we get started, I'd like to take a second to show you a commission that I finished just earlier today. This is Starfire from the Teen Titans based on the George Perez design. I guess the whole thing can't fit in there, but you can kind of see I had some fun using the brush on her hair. A lot of fun with that. So I'd like to do an ink along with some form of her floating head, like we do the floating heads, like the Marvel corner boxes kind of style. I'm going to try to work up something like that for us. And then if you join us on Thursday, I'm going to be taking the Billy Batson and the Shazam or Captain Marvel, however you prefer to be, whatever you prefer to call them. I'm going to take their heads and we're going to do the two of them on one piece, like we do with the corner box heads. And then I will also be revealing what's on the back of these that makes it a 4-part sketch cover extravaganza. So tune in Thursday to be part of that. And tonight we got Ezamar.
Give us any chance, we'll take it. Read us any rules, we'll break it. We're gonna make our dreams come true.
All right, here we go. Our special guest tonight is Ezamar, Ezimar. She is our big bad from Gods and Gears. What is Gods and Gears? Gods and Gears is the adventure title that I write in color for Alterna Comics. Dean Kotz does the art and Wes Loker does the letters. Now I have dipped my brush in water. I've dipped my brush in ink. I am sharpening the brush on a piece of scrap paper. And we're going to get started. Hopefully you've already warmed up. We are using a Raphael 8404 size 2. I call this one Stinger. Got a little dent there, and a little dent there. I don't know how that happened. There's no dents on the other side, so it's not a cat bite. I'm trying to figure out what I did there. I've dropped it a few times, so that might be the result of that. But anyways, you're not here to listen to me talk about that. You're here for the ink along. All right, so our first element as far as layers in this one is the flames and her eyes. Those are kind of the most forward things. So let's go ahead and do these eyes first. Let's make sure I'm lined up in the camera. Here we go. Now, as I said, Ezamar is our big bad from Gods and Gears. And Ezamar is sort of a cosmic witch inspired by characters like Maleficent, the Wicked Witch of the West, and classic characters like that. If you have been reading Gods and Gears, you sort of get that vibe, that everything's sort of a play on or twist of things that we are familiar with. So we're going to go really quickly on these energetic flame lines. You don't have to follow the line that's there perfectly. When you're doing stuff like this, you want the line to be energetic more than you want it to be a perfect tracing of the pencils. Now, a lot of pencilers will be like, what are you talking about, man? I drew it the way I want you to ink it. And you go, shut up, dude. I'm the ink king. And then they never hire you again. But that's neither here nor there. So, anyways, I'm just kidding around. So, you don't have to follow the pencils super accurately when you're doing energy lines like that. It's not like it's a nose or lips or something that needs to be extremely precise. And now we've got our angry eyes and our energy. Now, next thing I want to do, as usual, is the contour lines. First, I'm dipping my brush again, making sure it's got a nice sharp point. And let's see, I am going to start with her chin here, right in the center. Nice, heavy. You know what? No, we're going to sweep around from the jaw. We're going to do this whole bit. Bear down, get a nice bold line. Sometimes the board sticks to the table. And even spinning it around, it gets like a static cling. All right, we line up our shots. Boom. There we go. Now let's see. What was I saying? A little more about Ezamar. So we were saying she's a cosmic witch, and part of the deal, and this isn't really a spoiler, it's kind of in the first issue, is she needs a host. She's almost like a demon of a witch, and that she needs a host to inhabit to have a normal body. And you do get to see her real form in the book. And I really don't want to say too much if you haven't read it. A lot of people are still getting all 4 issues. They wait till the 4 issues were out, and now they've ordered a bunch. So I really don't want to spoil anything, because I know some of the artists that watch this are big Alterna fans. But she is up to no good, as one can imagine. But she's very weak in our series because of... she is far from home, and she's been damaged, she's been trapped, and she's recently freed. So the only way that our boys can deal with her, luckily, is that she's not at full capacity. Because while she may not be a god, she used to fight with the gods and the demigods. She is extremely powerful. And she had a band of 7 sisters that they were all killed off in battle. And they were all killed off by one guy, and that's Markham. And Markham is the dude, if you've read the series, or if you've read the short story from It Came Out on a Wednesday, you know that Markham is the dude with the motorcycle helmet. And he is one of the gods of Gods and Gears. Excuse me. So in battle, he defeated her sisters, and she is super angry. She's full of revenge for everyone that crosses her. So the few people that have crossed her in our series, she's going to be eager to get revenge on them in any way she can, whether it's on them or on their family members. We're going to break up the line on the upper lip, and then we're going to go a little thin, and some of these just kind of build up shading. I'm having fun with this one. It's playing it a little loose. This is a sketch trade for a friend, Brenda, over on Twitter. And she's making me some Gods and Gears coasters. So I thought I would do up an Ezamar for her, because she likes the character Ezamar. And I got those little bleeds. Now, I messed up and did all these details because I'm sitting here yakking away. Those of you that are regular viewers, you know I should have finished up my contour lines first. So let's reload the brush. Let's get these necklines. There we go. Come in here. Do that slight curve on her shoulders there. There you go. Now, as you can see, the hair is pretty loose in this one. You guys are going to be inking over my already inked piece, which has been turned blue, called Blue Line in the industry. And it'll be a little cleaner. I'm going to figure some of it out in the inks. And some of these collar lines are going to be covered up by her black clothing. But I just want to hint at them. So we will do it like that. Let's see, am I in frame? Alright, I'm in frame. Now let's do this cast shadow on her neck. So those of you that have been waiting for issue 4, it should be getting there any day now. I'm still waiting for my copies to arrive as well. I'm dying to see it in print. And then we're almost done with the Hammerella story. I'm going to start soliciting for emails for the Indiegogo campaign pretty soon. Alright, we're going to reload the brush here for these big sweeping lines on her sort of horns on her helmet. It's funny, somebody in the chat one day on a live stream was like, how come she wears a baseball helmet? I was like, oh my gosh, it almost kind of does look like a baseball helmet. All right, we're gonna line up our shots here. Nice bold lines, spin the page, line up our shot. This is all wrist on these ones. There we go. We're gonna do those straight lines here, and then I'm gonna work off this one here. And then same thing here. Biggity bam. And halfway there. And halfway there. All right, so let's do some diamond lines here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We'll go thin to thick to thin on these. And that sort of helps to represent the light that is coming off the little floating orb in her helmet. And that sort of works as like her crystal ball. Now this, let's see, we're gonna freehand, but we're gonna break up the lines because it's gonna be, you know, that kind of symbolizes that it's glowing. You can do that just like this, and you don't have to have a template or anything like that. And now you have a glowing sphere, and you can break up the lines or give it any sort of texture that you want. You know, this is your piece of art too. I need to clean off my brush and give myself a swig of water. We'll go in and do the hair, and then we'll fill in the black areas, and we'll be done. So I will be showcasing some more characters next week from the Hammerella series. It's not really, sorry, I shouldn't say series. It's going to be one, maybe two issues at most that will be part of an Indiegogo campaign, and then we're going to add some bonus to it and bring it into the Gods and Gears series. So in between the stories about the boys, we're going to have a Hammerella story. Now, back to the hair here. I like to just have fun and do brush shapes that sort of go in the flow of hair. You can follow my lines if you want. You can do your own however you would like. But I just sort of like to have some fun, especially when I'm just doing fun pieces like this. I like to play and make it almost like more of a design than realistic hair. Some may call that a cop-out. I won't deny it, but I won't agree. And so let's see. She is currently possessing in the series somebody named Beatrice. I don't want to spoil who Beatrice is, but this hairstyle is sort of based on her hostess, Beatrice. Because whoever she's possessing, she kind of has, since it's their body, she sort of has their hair. So you'll see her in flashbacks and things like that. She'll have different hair. She'll always have the same helmet, kind of the same outfit, and definitely the same color palette. But she will always have different hair depending on who she's possessing at that point in time. So another thing I like to do in a lot of my pieces, and you may have noticed it in the Starfire piece, and we're going to do it a little bit here in the Esmar pieces, I like texture, and I like things to have like a gray area, a black area, and a white area. So the hair is kind of what I'm considering the gray area because it's got this, it's black and white, sort of black and white rendering. Do some thinner lines in there, build up the hair. And then we're going to have these solid black areas, and then her helmet and her face and everything is sort of the white. So it's those three elements. I like to have a black, a white, and a gray element. Not considering the background in this piece, just on the figure. Excuse me. All right, let's load up the brush and fill in our black areas. Now, sometimes you can fill those in with pencil so you know where to fill in. A lot of times pencilers in the industry, and even if you're inking yourself, sometimes they'll put X's in, but with pencil, so that you know to fill in that area with black. Now I've got my brush extremely loaded right now. My brush is so loaded, bro. It's really heavy with ink and water, and I can lightly bear down and get a big, thick stroke like that. Now, when I was an inking assistant, I would fill in all these areas with X's, and then if I wasn't filling, or if I was setting it up for the boss, if I was doing all these lines, I would put X's there for him, and then otherwise I would just go in and fill in all the black areas. That was part of my gig for Danny Mickey's studio, for John Levisay, for Joe Weems, all those guys I assisted for. Even when I did the little bit of work I did for Norm Ratman, it was just sort of part of the job you did. And a lot of guys get their spouses or partners to help out sometimes, family members. That was back when there were not that many inkers and the deadlines were hectic. Get as many people helping you out as possible. All right, I don't like to scrub back and forth with the brush. That will twist up your bristles. So even if it looks like I'm doing that, I'm doing all my brush strokes in one direction. You might not be able to tell that I'm lifting up from the board. So these I'm all just brushing down towards myself. There we go, and now she's got some dimension. I gotta watch out, this is a wet area here, but I wanna fill in her lips, so I'm gonna pull back on the brush a little and hit that. It's okay if you leave a little white space on the top line. That'll just sort of give a little texture to her lips and add a little more dimension, as I'm always saying. Dimension, or this is a two-dimensional piece of material, and we're trying to make a three-dimensional image with it. So I would normally, moving back to the art, I would normally use a bigger brush to sort of mop in these black areas, but since we're filming and I don't want to waste too much time or have a bunch of edits, we'll just do it with this guy for now. And you can kind of see, it's a good example of what you can get done with just one brush. Now again, I'm barely wiping the brush off on the inside of the jar here, which I usually call sharpening the brush. Barely doing that. I want this heavy. I'm not worried about having a point right now, whether to my story or the brush. All right, so one more heavy dunk. I'll do these crossover pieces on her collarbones. Another thing I used to do as an assistant was, if the boss was going to finish the page and I was doing the X's on the black areas like this, I would fill in or I would go around any borders and thicken them up so that he didn't have to worry about being careful around the edges. All right, we're going to see if we can do this in just like 3 or 4 more dunks. I may go back in after the video and double over on the black ink. There we go. Yeah, I think each one of these quadrants gets one healthy dip on the brush, and we get about 5 brush strokes with that. It doesn't matter how clean they are, especially towards the edge there. You can go solid, or you can sort of leave the brush strokes if you want. It's totally up to you. This is just a fun project. Now, if you did ink up a piece and ink along, please contact me either below or on Twitter at Ryan Wynn, and I'd love to showcase it. Thursdays is when I'm going to be showcasing other people's art. I've already got a few other people's colors and inks that we're going to be showcasing. So there we go. This is SMR for Brenda. And when I get my coasters from Brenda. I will send them along, or I will put them in the video here. And speaking of Gods and Gears, I almost forgot. We got these awesome stickers over on the site. If you go there to order the book, you can get 4 of these for just a few bucks. And I don't have it ready yet, but bam. We have these as well, but they're not in stock yet. I don't know what I want to do. They're super cool. They're super special. I just wanted to show it off. So, anyways, until Thursday when we do the Shazam Ink Along, let's sign this up. Getting ahead of myself. And you go ahead and sign it right below. As I was saying, until Thursday, next time, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and take it easy. And if you haven't already, head over to alternaaccess.com and check out the book I wrote, Gods and Gears, with art by Dean Kotz and letters by Wes Loker. Issue 4 is out soon.
Stupid cat.